you're going to also be making some freehand sketches of your product. Now, if you have an image on the internet to look at, you can still do this. You can search around and see if you can't find in Google Images having different aspects of it. So you're looking down on it or looking at it. So if I look down on this, this is essentially just a big circle, but there's also a bit of a square. I can see a little bit of a square there as well. And you're sketching with your black pen, your black ballpoint pen. Now again, my big fat head wants to get in here, so I have to be about an arm's length away here. But you'll get the idea. Oh, I think my head got in there. And what's really important is this elevation. To see now, what are the actual proportions? If you have the product with you, you can lay it down and see. Now this cap is far thicker than I thought it was. So I'm not using perspective at all. I'm just looking at proportions. And look at that. That's quite a long neck there. And the shoulder. So do I have that right? So that appears almost the same. See, it is nice if you have it with you. Yeah, that looks the same. So whatever this is, this should be. And it's actually a little shy. And however, let's see, this width and this width, the cap is actually wider than the shoulders. So I'm going to take the cap out a little bit rather than making the... Now see the beauty of the ballpoint pen? That will just look like a little accent I've got there. I can just make it work like hatching. I don't have to correct that. And I'm going to make this a little round here. And this part... Now you can make a printout and do some comparisons like this as well. If you have a really terrific reference piece. So this, if I see how many times it goes down, goes once, twice. Okay, so the width goes once, twice to the bottom. Now when I sketch this in my next part, when I put it in with my display, I'll have a far better idea now of how to make it work, how to make it look and have a likeness. I want it to have an actual likeness to my actual product. So we want to do one view like this from the top. So this is top. And this is front, a front elevation. And we should do a side one too, although I think for me that's going to be the same. And we'll see how the logo looks up here. And again, you want to keep all this very light until sometimes you get into the rhythm of it and you forget and you start to. If you do press, you have to make a concerted effort not to. And then I'll have my spices all in here. I really wasn't very thrilled about spices because I don't cook. So I don't know really anything much about them, but I'm learning so much that I'm really quite pleased. So hopefully you're having a similar experience. And we're not going to have to ever write on these. We'll just put some something to indicate that. And this is kind of a plastic, so it's, you kind of draw inside as well to give it a little bit of a, this is nothing, but it does make a difference, I have to say, if you put in these little extra lines, not one line, but 2, 3, 4, whatever, and it really does make it look more professional, a more professional sketch, and more realistic, more believable little, design things. And now to view it from the side, so I want to try and see what it would look like if I drew it this way. And I can bring some of these proportions over so I don't have to do that again. Oops. I'm trying to keep my big fat head out of the way. So now remember that I can't make it look square. It is essentially a square, but I can't make it look like a square. I've got to allow for foreshortening. So I've got to make this a little bit less than what I think it will be. And again, this is all freehand. We're below eye level, so we want to show the top. That's a good way to look at it. Oh, there's where my... Now it looks like I'm hacking away at this, but I'm not. I'm trying to... The other thing too is that if you're not ready to make a line, don't make a line, just make a stroke, and you're preparing to make a line. So it's called a phantom line. You're just drawing in anticipation of what the angle of that line should be. This now is going to look, it's very rounded, this bottle, so this helps to set up the weight of the lid, I guess. There, and that would be, and we just brought these across. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that this isn't getting smaller as it goes away. So remember, this closer part should appear bigger than the same thing at a distance. And that's true of everything. It should all look that way. So we're doing more lines than one. Remember, we have to do more than one line. And our logo, it's going to kind of wrap around the form, but you can cheat a little bit and just pretend that it's sailing along undisturbed so we can see it well enough. And again, we'll just Greek this in. That's what this is called, when you just draw vertical lines for your type. Now I've got the knuckle of my finger here resting. if you're having trouble keeping your vertical straight, this is sometimes helpful because you can put it on the edge of the paper, and as you move down, it'll keep it straight if you're close to the edge, or you can be conscious of the edge. That will really help. And this is from the side view. And this one is in perspective, and this isn't. This is an elevation. That's an elevation. And this is side view. And it's not an elevation, it's in perspective. This looks better after all. See? So you can sketch along there with your pen, and if you make a mistake, you just change it if you work from light to dark.